What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Not Financial Advice. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Toby. He's not allowed to tell his last name, and Yusuf Hader Ritter. What are we going to be talking about today, guys?
It's episode 25, and I just want to start off this episode. Logan Paul, he bought an NFT for $623,000, and I want you guys to guess how much it is at now.
Less than 100. You've told us, so it's less than 100. But...
I would have to concur with Cooper Cold.
When did I tell you this?
A little while ago.
Just like the Activision thing with Call of Duty.
No, but the Logan Paul thing.
You have definitely told us about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
That's a lie.
How much is it worth now?
Like $7,000.
7.
$7,000.
Is it?
Yeah. He spent $600K on a Bumblebee Azuki NFT rare, and he bought it for $623,000 in 2021, and now it's worth $7,000.
Jeez, unlucky, bro.
I've told you this.
Yeah.
Because I remember I found this thing. I found like this topic.
Actually, no, I might have just seen it somewhere.
Because I found it, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna do a really cool intro. Man, fuck you.
You know, you might not have actually. I might have just seen it somewhere because I remember seeing the image too.
It's like the katana.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, well, basically,
can I have the glasses, please? Well, basically,
it's dropped 99%.
Yeah.
And
which is just bad luck, really.
Well, not bad luck. Well, because that's the thing, right? He bought with that. Well, he had two other. It's kind of bad. He had two other NFTs of something called Genesis Rocks. And they're just rock NFTs, and they have numbers. And he bought them for $150K, and now they're worth apparently $25.
Yeah, right.
Which is disgusting.
That is something.
So basically, there's a group of Stanford researchers who want to make the Ethereum blockchain refundable.
Refundable?
So you can have a transaction and be able to refund it. And that basically sent off like an entire like shitstorm in like the whole crypto like Twitter NFT community. Yeah. And basically the premise of this research, like this paper that they released, was that you would be able to how it would work essentially is like, let's say you make a transaction and you're like, oh shit, whoops, it's either a scam or I accidentally sent it to the wrong wallet. You would be able to freeze the transaction, and a decentralized group of judges would judge whether or not it was like whether or not it should be refunded or it should continue.
That would get exploited so.
Oh yeah,
no, because you could just rip people off. You just freeze the transaction once they've sent you whatever you want. And these decentralized judges, if you're rich enough, you just pay them off.
Yeah,
that would not work.
It's the dumbest idea. Like okay, maybe it might work in like an alternate universe, but right now, like with the amount of scumbags out there,
there's absolutely no chance unless you can use like artificial intelligence. There is absolutely no way that would work.
Yeah.
So this idea was kind of built on the fact that in 2020, Toby, you better put that phone away. No, give it to me.
No,
I'm gonna put it on the pumpkin.
The pumpkin doesn't have such.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, basically this this research was built on the idea that in 2020 alone, over $7 billion was scammed in.
Oh, I remember you telling me.
In Ethereum.
Yeah.
$7 billion. In 2020 alone, it doubled to $14 billion.
No, just add on this new thing you're talking about, like freezing transactions and that. That's gonna shoot up so high.
The number of scams.
Oh yeah.
So I'm saying the number of scams that occurred there were in 2020 $7 billion worth of money lost to scammers, and in 2021 $14 billion. And basically these guys released this research as a way of stopping that.
But so it would just add more corruption to it.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Because if you say decentralized judges, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be decentralized, are they?
And they're obviously going to be very, like, easily corruptible, I'm guessing. If they're not actual, like, I'm not even sure, but not actual, like, political leaders or whatever. And what political leader would be running, like, because generally they're quite, like, old, like, 60s plus.
Well, if you have a political leader, then now it takes away from the decentralization.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Because one of the, like, core pillars and like core ideas and reasons why we actually have, you know, decentralized like ledgers is so that no central power has the ability to control all this stuff. And like the reason why there was so much like, you know, there was a shitstorm is because like they released this paper and everyone was just like, are you kidding? Like it's like the whole point of like cryptos and stuff is for it to be decentralized. Now you want to make it not decentralized. But basically, it's first off that it was I was a bit clickbaity with that. First off, they haven't done any tech. Like it was simply an idea that they released, but everyone kind of got overhyped about it and a bit rowdy. And second, basically how they were planning to actually execute this was you have like the Ethereum tokens, like the basic and main ones, and that like that most cryptos on Ethereum are based off these. Basically, what they would do is just clone these like the standard tokens, and then give them the ability to be frozen and refunded. So you're not actually changing the Ethereum blockchain. It's these coins specifically, and if you wanted to use that coin and for the possibility that you can refund or something, then you could.
Yeah, I don't like the idea. If you get scammed, you're just a sucker.
Yeah.
It's not gonna.
It's the same as buying something from like a snake oil salesman.
Snake oil salesman.
It's like, you know, like the term for someone who's just selling a scam.
Yeah.
I'm guessing people are like running through and determining whether or not this is going to be passed. Like, you know, an actual idea.
Be, bro.
Yeah, I swear to God, dude.
This is the thing, right? I don't. First off, I don't think it's gonna happen, and second off, they'd have to find some other way than a decentralized set of judges.
Yeah.
Like it's. First off, how would you find those people? And I think like just that idea isn't very like thought out, but yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't make much sense, and I don't think it'll work. But I think there'll be a lot of hoops you'd have to jump through to actually execute something like that. But I think in the end, it just wouldn't execute well.
Yeah.
I agree. It's just too much of a pain. It's like you could just it's like in real life. If you get scammed, it's like sure you can call the police on them. Maybe you can get your money back. But it's like say if you like buy something from like one of those like gurus, right? And it's like a $10,000 course and it's a complete scam, whether it is or not. But I think the majority of them are. Then it's like, well, that's just sucks for you, isn't it? Like you're an idiot, you know. If they're selling like an actual direct line, then you can go to the authorities. But you can't do that because it's decentralized. There's no authorities, so you're just a sucker. Like
if you get scammed,
you are.
I mean, because then you're not identifying like,
maybe like you probably shouldn't be in that space, at least not yet. Well, it's in like the kind of stages that you can get ripped off so easily. It's like if you're on the internet in like 2003, right? You know, there would have been so many people that just made stupid mistakes because it's not like there's people going around preaching why not to, and there's not all these sites saying like don't do this, don't be a fucking idiot, you know, and there's not automated protocols against it, so you don't even need to think like if you're like in your bank, right, your banking app, and you go to transfer it to your friend, like you don't need to worry, like you just check with them if that's the right number, and you don't need to worry about it. But there's so many more things that you need to worry about with crypto, and it's like that's the only thing with it. But yeah, it's just one of those things that's bound to happen. I think the scams will go down in the future.
What makes you say that?
Because like what I just said,
like just more security, more.
Yeah, there'll be more people realizing that are smarter than me in terms of like programming. There'll be more people realizing like, oh well. The reason that this isn't growing
Off your phone.
the reason that like this space isn't growing is because people are just going to lose money because people are idiots realistically, and they're just going to have all their money like scammed out of them. Yeah. So you know, if you just show people like in like Google Chrome, you can have a thing that's like this website might be a scam. Yeah. It's like you could literally have the exact same thing that just like says that for like NFT projects or something Web3 related, and it would be so easy, like basically problem solved.
Yeah, I don't really think there's like one exact solution that'll
No.
fix this problem, because there's so much stuff. It's like, well, if you want the more security side and like not have to think, and it's less work for you, go through a bank account.
It'll just be like the evolution of the industry.
Yeah.
There's no one thing that'll fix all of it.
Yeah, I do think. I know the government, like, well, I'm gonna say the U.S. government because that's they kind of lead the charge. But there's so much stuff going into actually like reducing the amount of scams and just making it like a safer place. But I don't know. I think it's going to take a lot more time to get the tech down for people to be educated, and then get to the point where it's actually something that like day-to-day people.
It's like, I suppose you could say, yeah, you're right. I suppose you could say, like, say 200 years ago, right? You go like, you're some rich guy, like a monarch or whatever, and you're like, all right, I want to buy such and such of this product, like this good. It could be like, the easiest thing I can think of is probably like a metal or jewelry or something, or a diamond, like precious gem. And it's like, you give them this much money and they give you this product, but you know, you might have the best people to check whether it's real or not, but it still might be fake. That will never happen today, because say with diamonds, you can like check, you can look at it and see if it's lab grown or not, and then if it's lab grown, it's a lot cheaper and stuff like that. It's like, no one's gonna sell you like a bunch of fake gold now, but they might have done that like then. So it's one of those things that as even technology in another space evolves, it'll help this space. Like along with it.
Yeah.
It's just time. It's a new industry. It's literally been around maybe 10 years, popular for 2 years. Like, if you look at how long gold has been around, if you're using that analogy, even if you're looking at like how quickly things grow, like exponentially, like it'll still be a good 5 years before like the average human can use it without worrying. And I think like 10 years before like it's an everyday kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
without worrying too much. That'd be like 2015 internet.
Yeah, I definitely don't think. Probably in the next like maybe 5-10 years, I don't think we'll ever reach a point where the government is actually advocating that it's safe. Because that's the thing. A lot of people, like, let's say if I go to like my mum and say like, hey, you know, to like buy a Bitcoin or whatever, I actually use it. They're not gonna do that because like it's first off, like, it's not safe, or like they're not educated. But it's also the idea that like big companies and big brands aren't actually promoting it, because those are the people they trust in. Like let's say my mum trusts me, but something to this scale, they need a lot more trust, and they need to see that their neighbor down the road is also, you know, buying stuff
or
with
bought a
Bitcoin.
car with it.
Yeah, you know, and so I do think before we reach that point where Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever crypto is at the top, before that's integrated into day-to-day life, we need to reach. Sorry, my eye is twitching a lot. We need to reach a point where it's safe for just even like so your grandma can have a wallet and transact and not lose all her money.
Like one hand.
But my quote is it's by a writer named Mark Twain, and I
think I know this one.
I love this guy a lot. Actually, I haven't read any of his books, but no, he says a lot of stuff that I do agree with. And the quote is, "The man who never reads has no advantage over the man who can't read."
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know I have it's been a very long time since I've talked about this, but I mean, so much knowledge and so much information, value, and just shit that you can use in your life is held in books in a $20 just stack of papers. There's so much value and so much stuff that can affect your life, but it's not taken advantage. Like, the thing about it, there's a place where you can go, and there's so much value and free stuff
knowledge
for free.
Yeah,
and that's called the library. Yeah, but you walk into a library, and the amount of stuff you can learn or be entertained or just grow your knowledge, it's free. There's so much.
The thing is, you're not entertained. That's the case.
Let's say you're reading a fiction book or something.
Yeah, but then you're not really learning much.
But
that's why people are like, they don't read as much, because they have social media, the constant addiction, and even if it's not modern social media but more like the old YouTube, it's still more entertaining than reading a book. A lot of things are. Like, I would much rather do really any physical activity than read. Just like almost, within reason. Just because, like chemically speaking, like biologically speaking, I enjoy it more. Like it is like my brain says, oh yeah, this is better than sitting down and reading. Because even if I know there's a logical benefit to it, like I don't want to. And a lot of people don't even care about the logical benefit. They only want to do what they enjoy. That's literally what they're driven by.
Because the part that also obviously like releases dopamine and serotonin, all the parts that give you like happy hormones for certain things that you do, it's also the most primitive part of our body, like the brain, I'm meaning. And so if you don't have much control over it, you just resort to your literal like instincts, like things that just make you happy.
Yeah, and if you look at fat people, that's why they're fat.
Yeah, yeah.
For it's a generalization, but for the most part, because they just don't have the self-control.
Yeah, but I would say it's idiotic to chase what makes you happy. In a sense, hold on, I'm gonna get taken out of context a lot. But I mean, in the sense, if making you happy is like going skiing or something, like to a certain extent, like yes, chase that, do what you feel makes you feel good. But there's also to the extent, like kind of what you said, chemically, where it's like, okay, well, chemically I feel happy when I eat a cheeseburger. Yeah. Or when I...
But I'm saying that's what people are driven by. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that's the case.
And that kind of goes back to the quote, the man who never reads has no advantage over the man who cannot read. Think about it.
What about the man who knocks?
Oh my god.
It's that idea of like even in our like Western society, there's so much like we look at like we're looking at this like in class we're watching like a Bill Gates documentary. They and Bill Gates had a whole thing about this. They don't even have like modern sanitization and plumbing in and like in Africa. It was in Africa.
Dakar.
Yeah, Dakar, and in some places in India. And we're in a place where, like, if I'm hungry, I can go on my phone, call someone, and they deliver food to me. Or if I want to, take a shit, I go to a room, shit, and then press a button, and I don't have to think about it. No one even knows.
With chemicals.
Yeah, like it's
chemicals that they'll never touch in their lives.
But we're so comfortable in our lives. Like, think about like all these people. Let's say like you got someone who was a very impoverished family, like from these countries where they don't have this stuff. When you hear those stories where they come to a country and they see the amount of opportunity there is, they take so much advantage of that. Yeah. And they completely transform their lives. They transform the lives of their family back home, and you can see how hard they work. Like I heard a story very long ago, and it was of this guy. He came from Africa. His parents, I forget his name. That was very long ago. His parents had paid for a ticket for him to come to Australia, and that's all they could afford. They spent all this money. He was 14, and from the age of 14 to 18, he didn't know anything about English. He couldn't speak it, didn't do anything. He would sleep outside of libraries and spend his entire day reading and learning and stuff, and he wanted to be a lawyer. And basically, he graduated from school and just barely managed to get into law. I think he went into community college for law. And basically he did this. And at the time, he became one of the top lawyers in Australia. And he was, for like the first 10, 15 years he was in Australia, he was living in his car. He says he would like go like through rubbish and trash for food. Like he was truly living in the worst conditions. He can't speak English. He doesn't know the culture, anything. Yet he was able to level himself up to this point where he's one of the most successful lawyers. But there's so many people, and like I can even say
it goes back to what we talked about last time.
Yeah.
When you're born in an average condition, you don't have the drive to do better.
Yeah.
You just don't care. But a lot of the time.
Yeah, but like it bugs me in a sense because like there's so many people with worse conditions, let's say, than us, yet we're unable to see and take advantage of the place we are in.
Yeah.
And like just to like recap it, that is my quote. That literally is the man who never reads has no advantage over the man who cannot read.
Yeah.
Right. Also, like you've stated this many times before, as with like us, privileged people, we have so much like access to like this library or this like our phones. This is like one of the most sophisticated pieces of technology. Like, well, at its time, like currently now there's better things, but like even so, this is an iPhone 6, and it's probably like 10 plus years old, definitely, but it still has so.
15 years ago it would have been the pinnacle of technology.
Exactly, and it still has such like value. Like I could learn basically anything on this one tiny object.
Like let's say like to our current standards, I would look at your iPhone 6 and think, oh, that's old.
Yeah.
Like that's old tech. Why do you have an iPhone 6 upgrade? But to someone first off, any other country or even like 10 years before the iPhone 6 released, it has Touch ID.
You can look at the weather.
It has a camera on the back. Like crazy. There's so much opportunity.
But just even Google itself, like, it's so much value. Like, I don't use it enough. Obviously not. But it's just.
But it goes back to what you're saying. People are only tasting that chemical reaction, and it's such a shame. It's truly it's poison. People talk about like heroin being a poison.
Technology.
Social media and this dopamine addiction is a poison.
Yeah, people, because it's like, that's the thing. People always trade temporary happiness for like that long-term fulfillment. You got a quote?
I do actually. Real quick on that, I've seen studies that say like I'm not sure what the percentages are exactly, but it's definitely 70% plus. 70% plus people would rather take instant gratification than a longer term gratification later on.
Oh, the marshmallow, was it the marshmallow thing?
That's similar, yeah. But it's just, because with that experiment, I'll talk about that right now. So, I'm not sure if it's like specifically children because they have less.
Yeah,
it was children.
Children.
And they placed 1 or 2 marshmallows in front of these children, and they had to wait like say 15 minutes until. And if they had to wait 15 minutes without touching it at all, and then they could get like a whole bag of marshmallows. I'm not entirely sure, but that's just works the same. And obviously, if they ate it in that time, just that instant gratification, then you're not getting that better result. It's like not going to the gym now, because
you'll feel like shit later.
Yeah, exactly. Because and that's just
the gratification of not needing to push yourself like that.
Yeah, because we're spending like scrolling through social media, all this stuff, watching like dumbass YouTube videos, and we could be delaying this gratification and going out and leveling up in real life. Like
basically social media just kills your life standards.
Yeah, it does.
I think it is interesting though, that study, like the marshmallow study they did on children, because that literally proves that it's built into our it's built into our psychology to accept that instant gratification, that temporary happiness over long term.
I mean, if you think about it from a survival standpoint as well, you could be given like this massive, like I say, you kill a beast, you would rather eat it right now than risk something taking it. Going bad or something taking it. Yeah. Which is sort of like, that's just a fault to evolution, and that we haven't evolved fast enough to like combat the sort of like gratification sort of imbalance. But yeah, it's just the self-control even.
Like we don't have that discipline, otherwise, it's so easy to control people with social media. Otherwise,
do you want to do quote?
I have one more thing to say on that. It's just like like when people when I see people and their screen times are like, let's say 6 hours plus, 8 hours plus on like, let's say TikTok or Instagram or whatever, I think it would be bad to shame them, because like you said, it's built into our psychology, and it's built like that's how our ancestors lived, and like that's just how our brains are wired. But I think when people know that fact, yet they're unable to work towards something better, like they everyone know, if you talk about dopamine detox, everyone knows about it because it spreads so much.
Not everyone, dude.
Majority.
No, I would say a large portion. Like if I go to school, it's like, oh, you know what a dopamine detox is, or like even dopamine and TikTok. Everyone knows the negative benefits. Everyone knows, and it spreads so much. Like TikTok specifically, it spreads so much even on that platform about how bad it is, and so many people are saying, "Get up, you've been scrolling again." Grind. Like it spreads so much, but people hear that, they think it, yet they keep going and they keep scrolling and they keep being in these bad situations, and then they are shocked when
they haven't leveled up. at all over
And
the
they-
next like year.
And they go to sit down and do an hour of work and they can't focus because they've just been given this instant like happiness hit.
Like that's very quick. Like that's something like I've been working on, truly like extending like your attention span, and like I not that I do like drills and training for it, but it's simply like I will never do more than one thing at the same time. If I'm like reading a book, I'm not gonna like read a book and like maybe have a conversation with someone, or I won't be like playing a video game and then also playing it like scrolling on my phone. It's either one or the other, and like just that idea of building, just being able to expand your attention span, it solves that problem of like, sorry, I can't sit down for 10 minutes, oh, I must have ADHD or some mental health problem. It's simply because you have bad habits. And like, yes, like the chances you like maybe you do have like one of these issues. And like I'll say like I have ADHD, but I think a lot of people, they will go to like doctors and all that stuff and say, oh, I have these problems, but they haven't tried fixing their bad habits first. Like they say, sorry. Just very quickly, a fat person will go to a doctor, say, "Oh, I'm fat. I must have an eating disorder.
Give me liposuction.
Yeah, I must have an eating disorder. It's something. Give me pills." Instead of, "Oh, I'm gonna." Not to say maybe you don't have an eating disorder, but it's.
I'm not gonna gym for a month and then see.
Yeah. Or even try and fix it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
Sort of. I'll move on to my quote like really quickly.
Sorry. Yeah.
But with the sort of just attention span and stuff, and again, Hamza, I've been sort of looking through it. He has such valuable information. Like genuinely, some of the stuff is quite far fetched. I must agree. It's not Andrew Tate level, but it's still far fetched. But some of the things are so valuable, and he's talked about his own experiences, like with his attention span. Like he would set up like a 3-minute. Just sitting for 3 minutes on like a timer, just sitting there trying to meditate. Not even meditate, just sit there and not do anything. And he said the lack of attention he had to that he like within a minute 20, I think probably less than that. He said he just actually turned off the alarm and went and like I don't know, like I can't say what he did, video games or whatever. And I just like shit. That's like an actual problem that. Like, even myself, I have... Well, not to that extent, like, genuinely, that's unfortunate. He's... Sorry. Like, he's worked on it.
Let's shut him
No, he's a lad, though. But I myself, I'll just set on, like, a 3-minute, sometimes, like, more, and I'll just sit there. Like, meditate. He even said, like, oh, it sounds cringy, and it does, but it works. Like, it's a lot healthier than, continuing to scroll on TikTok.
I definitely agree.
Sorry, back to my quote. All that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result. Sorry, let me say that again. All that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts. And that's by James Allen.
Well, bro, that's flames.
Oh my god.
I like that. I really do like that a lot.
I do.
What, like, No, you go. It's your quote.
No, go.
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 You go.
Go.
I'm not gonna
really
hijack it.
I think just the value of it is, again, with my last one, it's just the circumstances showing yourself who you are. It's just reflecting on your own capabilities and what you were able to achieve on and then working with it.
I agree with that, man. What's the quote again?
All that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts.
Oh yeah, it's just deciding whether you believe in yourself or not.
Yeah.
I think it's also the idea of like your thoughts govern. Well, to kind of paraphrase, like your thoughts govern the direction of your life. If all I'm thinking about is like, women, like this, that, like
you're gonna have a very good life.
Yeah, like the direction. Like if let's say like where you see guys all they're obsessed about is like let's say sex. You kind of going to that quote, if that's all you're thinking about, that's all your life is going to go. All you're going to like really chase is the badusi. But
Again, this is sort of like what you were saying about like generally like certain obese people with I'm fat, I must have some sort of eating disorder. And again, obviously some people definitely do. I'm not trying to, say that they don't. But, again, it's sort of like people who think they're like, or not. Okay, again, this is the exact same situation with people with like mental illnesses, like anxiety or depression. If obviously some people genuinely do have these issues, but people are thinking like, oh, shit's so bad in my life, like, oh, now I'm just depressed and that. And obviously some people do, but they instantly go to like a doctor or something and like, oh, fix me, give me pills. And it's just, that's a result of their own thoughts, because they're not thinking about like, oh, here's an issue, here's how I can solve it, let me actually work on it. They're just settling for, the easiest solution, which is a failure.
You could have said that like way more simply.
I could have, yeah.
Alright, I think we gotta wrap up.
No,
you got anything else
quote.
to say? What's your quote?
You're gonna be like, shoot for the stars.
Or blank in the sink.
Slip that. No, I was just gonna like, because I've heard a very similar thing to that. It's basically just like, he who believes he's a loser, and he who believes he's a winner.
Oh, yeah.
Are both right.
That's awesome.
And it's basically the exact same thing, but I feel like it sums it up better.
It's a lot more of a watered down version.
Yeah, but it's true. It's like if you think that you can do something, it makes it a lot easier to do it if you really believe it, compared to if you're like, oh, bro, I've got no chance of winning this. It's like, sure, if you give it your all, you still might win, but you've got a much better chance if you're like,
I fucking got this, man.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Just even if you don't actually believe you're confident in
You'll
yourself.
demoralize yourself if you lose, but if you're giving yourself like that positive, like reinforcement,
Affirmation.
if you know you're lying to yourself, but you're still saying it, you're just like, bro, I got this too easy. And then like,
sorry. There's an actual. Sorry.
I think everyone knows we're in a recession, and the crypto market as a whole is just fucked. Like, the amount of like just the NFT market in general, the trading volume is down from 17 billion total to 400 billion, and on
400 million, you mean?
Pardon?
You said 17 billion.
It's now worth 400 million.
Yeah, you said billion. Anyway.
Sorry, my mistake. And yeah, Logan Paul isn't the only person whose NFTs are down.
That's crazy.
Us.
No.
Our NFTs are down too.
No, they're not.
But I've made so no. Anyway, like, and that kind of segues into my next topic. It's like on OpenSea specifically, they had a 400 in one day. They had a $400 million like transactions. That was their peak back in last year.
Yeah.
And now they had a low day of 5 million.
Jeez.
And that's just the volume. And let's say Bored Ape Yacht Club, they dropped 50% in floor price from 150 ETH down to 73 ETH.
See, I that's the only thing I know what you guys are talking about. Like, understand the value of that. Jeez.
I do remember when you said like a while back, it was just I said like, Toby, you should buy an NFT. He's just like, no, it's going to zero.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's not going to zero because NFTs are shit, and a lot of them are at zero because they are shit. But it is predominantly because of just the market as a whole. Everyone saw this new piece of tech. Everyone saw an opportunity to make lots of money, and then they rode the hype train in 2021, and now they lost all their money. And I think it was very interesting because we saw so many people go out on TikTok and create like, yeah, I made 100K off an NFT. Sub to my account, I'll tell you how to make, how to retire off NFTs or whatever. And we just saw such an influx of people who had made money, very lucky. Like you see stories. Like I saw one where some 13-year-old made like 13 million. And like we're starting to see so many times we did see so many times where just random people and random investors who put money into just bullshit. They make money because the market was, just in a bull run. And then they think, oh, I'm a genius. Let me double down. Let me, pull out my mortgage and put it into this.
Basically.
Yeah, that's when it got to gambling. And then they lost everything.
I really don't like how antisocial you're being, Toby. We might have to kick you off the show.
It's unfortunate. I just see myself out now.
Yeah. No.
Go.
CCL found.
I'm gonna get some apple pie.
It's not ready yet. Alright, well now it's a two-man show. Back in the... honestly, I'm so glad we don't have Toby.
Yeah, honestly, dude. He was such a liability to us. He was a massive
still
liability
there.
to the team.
Oh, security. No. But, I think
Really, he's just an unnecessary like liability.
Yeah.
He's not an asset. Like
honestly,
I'm gonna post this.
I did this to be nice. No, well, we gotta record.
his mum's paying us to have it.
But yeah, I think it was the whole and another thing that we kind of saw NFTs getting crazy evaluations, and even tech companies too, where they would, crypto companies I should say, where there would be shitty ideas and shitty projects with no revenue and no real value, and they were getting NFT specifically getting evaluated at 100K upwards to $1 million, and we even saw like crypto projects and metaverse projects, like companies being valued at upwards to $1 billion.
yeah.
When they reported they didn't have the tech yet, they didn't have any revenue, they didn't, like, even in some of them the idea was just pure dog shit, like caca, but they still got such high valuations because so many people, like, so much money was being funneled in. It's like, oh my god, did you hear about, I don't know, some, like, this shitty company Invest, it's, you know, tripled its revenue in the past week, and it's just like, it was unsustainable, and that's why the market's down. And with that came a lot of people who fell into that trap and lost money. You know, my Chill Bears. It is long term, and I
Everyone starts with that.
No,
Like, it's a long term hold, guys.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not worried, and I'm not gonna sell because, like, the community still like, even you can kind of gauge if people are, like, actually still into the project or not based on how the community goes. And for a lot of the projects I'm in, the community is still active. They're still releasing new features. It's not like, oh, we're down, everyone quit. It's, hey, we're down, it's market conditions, let's keep going. And that's what they did with, like, this Chill Bear stuff. They're still releasing more collections and stuff. But I think I put in 2,000, and now it's probably worth like 300. Yeah, but one thing that was a bit, I bought probably about like 5 when they were worth like $30.
Yeah.
Which is good. So when they do eventually go back up, I hope I'll be making some solid profits there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what matters.
Well, one thing I want to clear up, a lot of people that, like, kind of on the idea of, like, oh, NFTs are down because the project is shit. A lot of them, they are down because the project is shit. But kind of like the main reason why Ethereum, like why NFTs are like so cheap now, is because the price of Ethereum went from a high of 5K, I think the peak was last year, and now it's sitting at around 1.5K.
Yeah.
Right? And NFTs and the value is in Ethereum. It's pegged to that, like it's not pegged, but like it's relevant to the Ethereum price.
Yes, I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when people see that their NFTs are down, it's not, a lot of the time it's not the project being down, it's simply the fact that Ethereum itself has gone down. And even now, if you do have NFTs and you do check your wallet and you see, oh, it's like I've lost like 20%, you gotta keep in mind, is it the project or is it the price of Ethereum and what's actually happening in the market?
There's an actual statistic that says
Welcome to the Toby Show, guys.
When people are, like, you know, shooting hoops, shooting buckets.
Oh yeah.
They did 2 separate experiments where.
Welcome back to the Cooper Show. So there's actually a thing where people are shooting hoops, shooting buckets, and they did an experiment where people were booing them half the time and cheering them on the other half, and they did a lot better when they were cheering them on. It's really
it was like 5% better.
The Cooper Show.
But when the people, back to the Toby Show, guys. When they were cheering them.
Well, now it's the Yusuf Show. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great episode, not great. Hit the like button, subscribe, do all that stuff, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace out, Logan. Peace in the Middle East. We dig stinks. It is so sad we didn't get to hear the end of these guys' sentence, but oh well.